So, as Coach Reggie B, what gives me the authority, the right to be out here in the middle of nowhere and bring people out here for six or maybe even eight people for a mountain leadership retreat? Well, I know this stuff. This is where I grew up. I've been in the woods since I was able to walk. So I can fish, hike, camp, ropes rescue certified, catch snakes, other things, cook out here, build fires, survive. So I am a survivalist out here. You know, I'm that guy that you give me a knife and leave me alone for a while, I'll be fine. And so the point is, I want to transfer this into my coaching practice and give people an experience that they've never had that will transform them. Trust me. If you've never had this experience before, it is a transformational experience to be out here with me in the wilderness. And we're going to do some coaching, but we're going to do a lot of other things. So for now, I want to be able to show you some things. And I want to teach you a little bit about fire building. Fire building and cooking on a fire and having a fire to stay warm and having a fire to keep animals away and all of those types of things are good and necessary. But safety, safety, safety. So the first thing you want to have when you're out here, if you can, is how do you put the fire out if it gets out of hand or you have to go somewhere and you're no longer tending the fire. So first thing is a bucket of water. So I got my water there, I'm safe. Now, there are three things that you need to have a fire. You need heat, oxygen, and fuel. Take any one of them away and you don't have a fire. So in order to make a fire, you need to have heat, oxygen, and fuel. Those are the three things. The other three things that I teach people is when you're building a fire, especially when you're out here in the woods and you need to build one, you need tinder, kindling, and the fuel. So tinder, if you can see down here, is what I have right here. I have some dry leaves, I have some pine needles, and I have these little tiny twigs that are almost the size of a matchstick, and that's called tinder. Now, this right here is tree bark. This is not quite tinder, but it is kindling, but it's a transition between kindling and tinder, or tinder to kindling, and I'll show you why later. Then over here, I have a whole pile of tinder. Now this tinder right here, I'm sorry, kindling. This kindling right here is a lot thicker. Once the tinder is burning, then you put the kindling on top to make it bigger. After that happens, then you go after these big logs and whatnot, and that's called fuel. So those are the stages that you build a fire. You build it with tinder, kindling, and fuel. Fuel keeps the fire going all night. You don't want to be throwing tinder on there forever. Now, the next thing is, what types of fires do I build? I build a teepee fire, I build a lean-to fire, and I build a box fire. So a teepee fire is real simple. Basically, you want to get something that you can make like a teepee. Let's get a couple things, and this becomes the framework of it, and I'll just show you the basics of it, and you'll be like, oh, okay, makes sense. All right, so let's see. A teepee fire right here is, I'm gonna take this V, we'll put it down like that. I'm gonna take another stick, put it down like that, and another stick, and maybe a fourth one, right? And so basically, you have 4 sticks supporting each other, and that's your teepee. Sorry, I'm doing it kind of upside down backwards. Now, what I do after that is I start putting a little bit of tinder down here, then I'll have some kindling on the side ready, and then I'll have some fuel ready, because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to build, once that fire gets started and I got heat on there, now I start to get more sticks, if you will, and I start adding it to this TP. And once that fire gets around and gets hot, that heat and that fire is going to go up, and it's going to catch fire quickly. So a TP, you want to get a fire going, especially a blaze. And you can also build down in there. You can build a small box underneath the TP, a box fire or a lean-to, and when it finally gets up, you just build around it. So that's a TP fire, and that's one. Now, a lean-to is a little bit more complicated. So, the lean-to, you want to have that same kind of V, and basically it's like this. And if you know what a lean-to is, you can sleep in a lean-to, but it really is like a house on a slant. So I'll build it sideways. This is a poker. Build it sideways. It's going to go like this, and it doesn't have to be that high. But also, a lot of times I may do it with a log. So I'll cheat a little bit. Maybe I'll have this log and this log. What you do is you just grab sticks and you start stacking it like that. I'm putting it on this side first. And then you do the same on the opposite side. Like this, like that. And basically what I would do is build my fire before I light it. I see so many people, they don't even build their fire before they light it. They light it and then they build their fire. No, you can build this lean-to and then you put a fire down there, and once that fire is lit, now it starts going. It won't go out real quick because it has something to catch on. So that's a lean-to fire. Box fires, pretty simple. It is what it says. And since I have some split wood, I'll just show you real quick. You put one there, you put one there, another there, and you can do this with any kind of wood. Another one like this. And the box fire is good if you want a fire that's going to go all night long, and once it's caught, you want it to take its time and burn for hours. It's good to start with a box fire. But again, you put some of this tinder in the box, tinder box. You put it down there, and then you have some of your kindling ready to put in the middle because it'll fall down as it burns. And next thing you know, you got yourself a good fire. So I want to build a fire. And I don't want to build a... Y'all paying attention? Hope I'm not blocking the camera. Once it lights, you give it oxygen. It's lighting a little bit. Almost lit. I can smell it. This is why everything has to be dry. All right, let's see what we got. Just because we got something don't mean we have something. We don't have nothing until this tinder catches fire properly and we have heat. Because this fire can go out real quick right now. That's not what I want. I need the wood to really start burning. And I need that heat to do what it does. Because this could go out. I'm gonna give it a minute to find itself because it's a lot of smoke, which means something's happening. But you gotta tend to it. That's why it's tender. And that's how you do a fire. Once I have the kind of heat I want, then I got a fire. I've been building fires since I was 5 years old. All right. And that's how you make a fire. I'm Coach Reggie B saying, get out here and become the best version of yourself. Hello, I'm Coach Reggie B, and I did a video on building a fire, but here's some fire safety. Right now, if you look behind me, you see some leaves moving. Those leaves are moving because of the heat of the fire. So when you build a fire around trees, you want to always look up. And when you see those leaves moving like that, it's not from the wind, it's from the fire. Because if you look around, you don't see any other leaves moving. So then if you look further up, those leaves aren't moving, that's your litmus test. When those leaves start moving, your fire is extremely hot. Do not put more wood on the fire because you can actually start a forest fire and not even realize it. So here's the fire. Hot coals. Hot coals are super hot and they're hotter than you think. So it may not be a super blazing fire, but it's a very hot fire, hot red coals. So the best way to know what those are doing, look at those leaves. Those leaves are dancing because of the heat. You want to look further up. And if those leaves up here start dancing, stop putting wood on the fire. I'm Coach Reggie B saying be safe when you're out there in the woods because it is definitely serious business out here. All right, become the best version of yourself while doing so safely.